Ranger RCI 99N2. This is a customer test video, just a complimentary video doing for the customer. Make sure the radio is doing good before it leaves here. Super nice radio, one of my favorites as far as the turbo radios go. And what I mean by that is radios that have the amplifier section built into them. It's always great with these. You can turn the amp section off. We'll demonstrate that a little bit later in the video. Try not to go too long on this video. Just want to go over the main features. Highlight, make sure the functions are working. Start out, just make sure it does receive. And there's a nice strong receive signal there, so receive is working properly. We're going to turn the RF power wide open, test it on AM first, then we'll go to sideband. We're going to do average power first. For the video, we've got a 500 watt slug in. If we can zoom in, you guys can see that there. 500 watt slug. So that's what we'll be testing on for the video. Shouldn't need more than that. Test voltage is 14.8 volts. Check it out on the clamp meter. Hello, audio, about 28, 29 amps on the audio. Now that is with the RF power wide open. As you turn this down, the average power will decrease a little bit. You'll especially have a fall off when you get it really low. But right through here, the average power will stay about the same. So while we're talking about that, let's go ahead and get into it here and see how this thing does. So middle scale, 500 watt slug. Audio. Hello, audio. Almost 150 average. Now, that is with a 75 watt dead key. Do I recommend run that high? No, probably not. I mean, that's a pretty hefty dead key. If you run the radio by itself, maybe. But I never recommend anybody to run the RF power wide open. I've never had a radio where I found the need to run the RF power wide open. So now we're still on average. Let's go back to 12 o'clock. Hello, audio. Still lots of forward swing on average with a 60 watt dead key. And let's go ahead and go back to 9 o'clock, and I'll expect a little bit of fall off here. Let's turn it back even lower. That's about 40 watts. Let's go to 30. Hello. Still over 100 watts average. And if I was running the radio by itself, that's probably where I would run it myself, with about a 30 watt dead key, 35 watt dead key, let it swing the rest. That's got the RF power down here about 8 or 9 o'clock. Now it will turn down, it'll go even lower. This thing will key almost nothing. So if you end up, running an amplifier with it, you may need to run a 10 watt dead key, 15 watt dead key, so on and so forth. You can do that. But running the radio by itself, I would probably stay somewhere between a 30 and a 45 watt, 30, 40 watt dead key. That's just my personal opinion. Of course, everybody can do what they want, but that's my opinion on it. PEP on AM, while we're at it here, let's just show you what it does. Hello, audio, check 1, 2, 3. Now remember, we've got the RF power down, and it's going to swing about the same PEP no matter what. Audio, 1, 2, 3, audio. Generally, they do somewhere between 265 and 300. It's doing a little bit less than 300 watts PEP. We can go to sideband, and we've still got the RF power turned back. Hello, audio check 1, 2, 3, audio 1, 2, 3, audio 1, 2, 3, audio. About 200 watts on sideband. And then RF power wide open. Hello, audio check 1, 2, 3, audio check 1, 2, 3, audio 1, 2, 3, audio 1, 2, 3, audio 1, 2. About 250 with it wide open. Go to lower sideband. Again, the RF power is wide open. Hello, audio check 1, 2, 3, audio check 1, 2, 3, audio 1, 2. About 250 there as well. Now, average power, I am going to check this on sideband just to show you folks. This is with the RF power wide open on sideband. Hello, audio. Okay, so you see it's showing a gigantic amount of average power. That's why we got it set up doing a little bit less on a PEP on sideband, is because if you start cranking the sideband power wide open on these, they do an astronomical amount of sideband average power, and you can seriously damage your amps with them. It's kind of a hidden thing, especially people don't have a bird meter. They have no idea what a radio is doing average power. They crank this thing up on sideband, and again, people out there say don't check sideband output on average. I'm here to tell you it is a factor, and it is the hidden killer of amps. If you've got a radio that is doing a crap ton of average power, and you don't know about it, you drive it into an amp, that is going to kill your amp faster than a radio that's doing a lot of PEP. There's a big difference. average power kind of relates more to dead key or a carrier than it does PEP power. They're kind of in the same family. So just imagine running too much dead key into an amp. If you think that's fatal for it, running way too much average power will do the same thing. Now, just for the heck of it, we're on sideband. We've got it wide open. You guys saw this doing a lot of average power. Let's see what it draws over on the clamp meter. Now, we know on AM we were drawing what, 28, 29 amps, and we are same voltage. Oh, audio. So there you go. I mean, if that doesn't prove it, I don't know what will. 38, 39 amps, 36, whatever you want to call it. And we're actually doing a little bit less PEP than we were on AM, but we're doing a lot more average power. With this wide open on AM, we were doing like 150 average. With it wide open on sideband, 200 plus. So if it was me, let's see if we can get this down there where it's going to do like 100 watts average on sideband. Hello, that's a little bit less than 200. Hello, audio, that's getting there. You guys can see audio check 1 2 3, audio check 1 2 3, audio 1 2. Right there, it's talking about 100 watts average, and that's got it at 9 o'clock. So my advice to people generally on these sideband radios, doesn't matter what kind you get, find where you like to run it at on AM and just leave it there. There's no need to turn this thing wide open when you go to sideband. All you're going to do when you do that is risk damaging your amp. So if you're running an amplifier with it. Now, I guess if you're wanting to run the radio by itself, you could turn it up a little higher. But again, if it was mine, I would find a comfortable place to run it on AM and set it and forget it. And just go to dang, all you need to do when you go to sideband is go, AM, sideband. Don't mess with your carrier every time, because when you do that, you will forget eventually, guys. No kidding. If you're somebody that talks on AM and sideband, it'll happen to the best of us. I've done it myself. You will forget, and you'll leave this RF power way up here. And when you go to talk on your 8-pill or whatever you got on AM, there you are dead keying 1,000 watts with your 8-pill. So just my 10 cents on this. So let's get back to the test of the radio. We'll just test the talkback out here, make sure it works. Hello, audio, check 1 2 3, audio 1 2, audio. I like the talkback on these. Maybe not quite as well as a striker, but they do have a good talkback. Echo. Hello. 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 Audio. 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 Echo works. Talkback works. We've already tested the receive. And I guess that's about it. We'll leave it at that. I gave my whole spiel on the my advice on sideband, so ran a little bit longer on the video than I intended. That looks awesome to me. I just love the way the red looks. Oh, you guys want to see what it does with the amp section off. Let's test that out here. What will we do? Let's just turn this up to halfway and see how it does without the amp on. This with the amp section off and PEP, middle scale. Hello, check 1 2 3, audio. About 50 watts on this one. Audio 1 2 3, audio. Sometimes I do a little more. Sometimes I do a little bit less, but about 50 watts. Audio. That's PEP. Average power. Audio. Audio. About 25 or so. Alrighty, that's it, guys. 99N2. I think the customer will really like this. Again, just a little bit of my personal advice. Some of the stuff I was talking about earlier as far as going between sideband and AM. Obviously, you don't have to follow those directions. People can run their stuff how they want. But I just always like to put a little bit of my own personal experience and advice in there. Especially, people are watching that aren't very, haven't had a lot of experience in radio. So that's it, guys. Ranger RCI 99N2. Hope the customer likes it. One of my favorites. And I look to get some more of these in here pretty soon. Questions, comments, shoot me a text, 423-299-3535. RoosterCB.com, Rooster in Tennessee. See you, bye.